Hello, and welcome to the Heart of Hope show with Mark and Lydia. Yay!
Okay, you sound a little bit like Theobald. I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh, look. Welcome to the Heart of Hope show with Mark and Lydia.
What? Wow.
Clapping.
That was the dogs. They're well trained, aren't they? Good evening, Ian and Debbie Cambray-Smith. Good evening, Bart G. Good evening, Patricia Mingolanthe, who's jiggling along with the music.
I like this new upgrade. We've got people's pictures now.
Oh, yeah. Now we can see their happy little faces.
Yeah, it's good.
How lovely. So, I just was scrolling on Facebook before we came on, and I came across a post, and it says 6-year-olds laugh an average of 300 times per day. Adults only laugh 15 to 20 times a day. And it says, be 6 again. So
it's good advice.
Good advice, I felt. So I thought I'd open and share with that. Has anything made you laugh today? I did tell some people the other day about something that made me laugh, and I forgot to share the picture. But yeah, has anything made you laugh today? Laughter is good medicine, the Bible says.
It certainly is.
Good evening, Howard. Now, you're the one person who maybe shouldn't be laughing too much. You don't want to split them stitches.
No, absolutely not. Good evening, Sue, as well. Good to see you.
Of course, Sue, yes. The trouble is when it just shows me who's registered. So, yeah I've been making that. I was making that mistake with Ian and Debbie a lot as well. I'm sorry. Yep, absolutely. So Mum says she enjoys a good laugh. We all enjoy a good laugh. Isn't it good when you get a real belly laugh? You know, or crying with laughter. You know, actually, no, that's where I go wrong, because then I turn into actual crying. So probably better not to go there.
She looks at how she laughs all day.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
What? That's really rude. You can't see laugh at Howard.
Oh dear. Do you like Mark's new round look? He looks like a tennis ball. He feels like a tennis ball.
Well, for those of you who've been missing Wimbledon,
dear.
This is what a tennis ball looks like.
So, Wimbledon. I hadn't even thought about that.
I know.
Wimbledon's missing. I hadn't even.
That's why there's all those. That's what all those sausages, strawberries, were on special offer in the shops.
Them famous Wimbledon sausages. Oh dear! I'm glad, Howard. I was going to ask you for an update actually. So all clips removed and tubes. I'm assuming we're talking about
that's enough
your
information.
Physical body.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's stop there. And it's not some gardening tip.
No, that's lovely.
That's really good news. Absolutely, we agree. And Howard, how are you feeling? Are you okay? Can you laugh, Howard? Because I know from my own experience, when you are healing from an operation, you really hope people don't make you laugh. So as we started with laughter, I do wonder, I think that's the mark of getting better, when you can actually laugh and not go, no, stop it, no, in the middle of it. Hello, Mella Margaret. What makes you laugh, Mella Margaret? Join in. We're talking about laughing. Oh, Mum's asking how your back is. How's your back?
Well, the thing is, Nanny Pat, I've got this persistent pain in the neck and it won't go away.
Yeah. So
it's better than it was, thank you.
I was going to say, did you want to answer the question?
Yes. I've been getting up early because lying in bed isn't very comfortable, which then makes Lydia grumpy because I wake her up. But better than it was, thank you.
So, yes, I mean, here's the thing. Mark's just started a sermon series called Mind the Gap. And the gap between having back pain and feeling better from it is quite long this time round. So Jake has been helping him with the shopping, and, it's all good stuff from...
Yes.
We're all pulling our weight. We're all pulling our weight a bit more, aren't we? Oh, dear. What is it? He can do a squelchy laugh. A squelchy laugh.
See, when I don't click on it,
that's a worry, isn't it?
You don't want to read it out. I'm like the PG filter.
A squelchy laugh. Margaret laughed when the line broke with the sheets on. Oh, no. Oh, I'm glad she laughed. I think I might have cried.
Yeah.
Not a lot. Maybe she didn't laugh. Yeah, maybe she did what I do. Just laugh, belly laugh, cry with laughter, then just cry. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Oh, it's actually really good when we can laugh at something that's gone horribly wrong, though, isn't it? What? I feel like I saw something the other day. Oh, it was that poodle, or cockapoo that had been trimmed, and never told you what the picture looked like. But this cockapoo had been trimmed, and it had bitten the groomer twice. So it had been sent home, and the woman who posted the picture on the Cockapoo Club
Before the
group,
trimming was finished, this is the important bit.
it had to be sent home. It wasn't going to be finished because
half trimmed.
It'd already bitten the groomer twice. So she posted a picture of her cockapoo sat on the car seat next to her because she said she couldn't drive the car for 10 minutes for laughing. And even now when I remember it, it still makes me laugh. It's making me cry with laughter the other day. I'm just going to describe it to you. It's this groomed cockapoo where it's all kind of really short fur, and actually you might get to see one in a minute. My Jazz might come over. He's just been groomed by me today. But then this head, it's like a candy floss head. You can't see the eyes or anything. It's this big white fluffy head where you can't see anything, and then this skinny kind of, and
I just post it on Facebook later.
If I can post it somewhere, I will. But just sharing with you because it really is the thing that's made me laugh the most this week. And Mum's going to keep praying, and that gap will be bridged. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I will stop doing the. It's like the prologue, isn't it? It's like the prologue to our evening's business. I will shut up. Never an easy thing to do. And hand over to Mark.
So, I just want to share with you a very, very short thing that I learned this week that actually goes really well with what Steve's going to be talking about later. So don't panic, Steve, when I start reading. I'm not about to steal your thunder. I'm going to say something completely different from the same one verse of scripture.
And now for something completely different.
Yeah, which is what's great about the Bible. There's so much depth to it. So I've been studying the words of Jesus in Matthew's Gospel recently. So I'm just coming towards the halfway point on the Sermon on the Mount. And Matthew chapter 5 verse 21 says this. So Jesus is talking and he says, "You have heard that it was said to those of old, 'You shall not murder, and whoever murders will be in danger of the judgment. But I say to you that whoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And whoever says to his brother, Raca, shall be in danger of the council. And whoever says, you fool, shall be in danger of hellfire.'" Which is a little bit worrying for poor old dull boy Trotter, because Raca basically is Hebrew for you plonker, Rodney.
Okay.
Or dipstick.
Yeah, both those words I don't think we should be using on our vote, but there you go.
Oh, they're fine. But now what I want to do is focus on verse 22. He says, but when Jesus said, "But I say to you that whoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment." And what I learned this week, and this is very fascinating, is that the Greek word for judgment is crisis. Krisis. And would you believe it's from that we get the English word
crisis?
Crisis, yeah, absolutely. So the kind of the meaning and the sense that's there behind the Greek word crisis is there's a couple of kind of ideas that go with it. One of them is separating things out, distinguishing between one thing and another, selecting one thing over another, and then kind of making a decision. So you can see how that would apply to a kind of a legal judgment, which is kind of the context that Jesus was using it in. But it just struck me that in terms of the way that we respond to a crisis, any kind of crisis, whether it's a global pandemic or a lack of clean underwear in the morning when we get up, whatever the crisis is that's thrown our day out of alignment, this is what we need. We need the ability to separate the important from the unimportant.
Yeah.
We need to distinguish between what matters and what doesn't matter, to be able to select a course of action and make a decision and run with it. And Steve's going to be talking about dealing with anger, and I've had a preview of what he's going to say. So I know that he's not going to go here, but I think one of the reasons why we can become stressed, and that stress boils over into frustration and expresses itself as anger, is when we struggle to make a decision. and we feel overwhelmed and we feel like we don't know which way to go, and that frustration boils out in anger. And so learning how to separate the important from the unimportant, how to distinguish between one course of action and another, and then select one prayerfully, I think is an essential life skill, and an important thing for us to develop as Christians as well. And one of the ways that you make sure that you make that right judgment, that you manage your crisis well, that you make a good selection, goes back to what Lydia was saying on Monday evening, when the Israelites forgot to ask God about what to do in the situation. So that was kind of the thought process that I got. Absolutely, Nanny Pat. Don't go making mountains out of molehills. We treat small things as if they're really important.
Yeah,
we blow them out of proportion.
Yeah.
But then the other mistake we can make is to treat something important trivially and just make a rash decision, perhaps because we're scared of the decision, so we just want to make one so that it's not hanging over us anymore. And we just don't deal with the crisis properly.
I can be known to do all of that. So yeah, thank you for that. One way to teach your wife.
Can't imagine where I got that inspiration from.
One way to teach your wife.
Yeah, that's right. If we do it live on the internet, then you can't complain about it.
No, it's good. I really resonated with it. I was like, yeah. Amen, brother.
Cool.
Preach it.
Cool. So, Marriage Guidance 101 with Mark and Lydia. It's like that scene in Jerry Maguire when he take him to a restaurant, so that he can't make a scene when they fire him.
Oh, I don't remember. It's a very long time. Is this you trying to say you'd like to watch Jerry Maguire again?
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
Not really.
It's a very long time since I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's like actual decades now.
Yeah.
Do you realise how old we are?
But you've got a Jerry Maguire pillow right over there.
What?
You had me at hello, is Jerry Maguire.
Okay. Well, I liked the quote.
Okay.
Show
Anyway, that's enough.
Show me the money.
That's enough of our piffle. Why don't we go now? Let's go over live-ish to Steve's amazing hair for this week's episode of Stay Sane with Steve. See you shortly.
Good evening and welcome to Stay Sane with Steve. Tonight we're going to look at a topic that I struggled with for a long time, that consumed me, controlled my actions and controlled my interactions. Anger. From a personal experience, it is so very easy to let anger grab hold of us and run how we live our lives. Without knowing and understanding what anger is and how it can be managed, I spiraled downwards into some pretty dark places, out of control and alone. I was marooned on an island of isolation and despair, with no clear way out. I was in self-destruct mode, and on top of it all, this was happening at a time that I had given my life back to God. So, what is anger? Please take comfort that anger is a natural, normal, and in some cases a healthy emotion that we will all experience, and that when displayed appropriately is okay. It is only when it starts to negatively affect our spiritual, physical and mental health and well-being that something must be done. When we understand what anger is and that it can be managed with a sustained effort and support, it can be tamed, and this can be transformational and life-changing. Anger is an emotion, one that is hardwired into us human beings, so is a primary emotion. It can be thought of in a similar way as colours. There are three primary colours, red, yellow and blue, and when we mix them together, we get all the other colours. There are three primary emotions, happy, sad and angry, that mix together to create all our other emotions. Without anger, we will not operate effectively. So what has the Bible got to say about anger? Looking into the Bible about anger can be complex and, in some instances, can appear contradictory. One verse that stands out is Ephesians 4, verse 26, which says, "In your anger do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry. This shows that anger is a natural reaction to certain circumstances and that it must be dealt with whilst it is fresh. Do not let it fester and grow, as this is where sin takes hold and damage to our health and well-being happens. There are two types of anger: righteous anger and unrighteous anger. Righteous anger is fueled by a sense of outrage over things that are contrary to God. We see righteous anger in action in Jesus' life, and he was perfect. He got angry when people made a mockery of his Father's house, John 2 verses 13 to 17. And when the Pharisees used their position to lead and turn people away from following God with their hearts, to follow a set of man-made laws instead. And that's Mark 3 verse 5 and Matthew 23 verse 33. Righteous anger comes from a passion for God's truth. This is an anger that is focused on and used to bring about positive change, reconciliation, release from unhealthy habits and situations, fairness, justice, and equality. It is natural for us to express this type of anger because of the way we are designed in God's image, but left unchecked and unmanaged, it can lead to unhealthy, unrighteous anger. So, unrighteous anger. Matthew 5 verses 21 and 22. You have heard that the law of Moses says, do not murder. If you commit murder, you are subject to judgment. But I say, if you are angry with someone, you are subject to judgment. Anger in this case is a seething, brooding bitterness against somebody. It is a dangerous emotion that always threatens to leap out of control, leading to violence, emotional hurt, spiritual damage, and increased physical stress and mental stress. It is a manifestation of an underlying root feeling or emotion that has not been sorted out or dealt with. It has just been allowed to fester and grow, and eventually it erupts in anger, either independently or awakened by a feeling of righteous anger. It is vital that we work towards uprooting unrighteous anger and identifying underlying causes. So what are the causes of anger? We are all different, so the causes of anger are different for everyone. I think you will already know the common triggers, but as a reminder, they can be grief, sadness, rudeness, tiredness, hunger, injustice, illness, money problems, feeling threatened or attacked, lack of respect for ourselves and others, feeling of failure or disappointment, becoming angry as a result of alcohol or drugs, being treated or seeing others treated unfairly or inappropriately and feeling powerless to do anything about it, feeling unsupported and being either physically or mentally unwell. Do any of these ring a bell? They most definitely do with me. So, what are the symptoms of anger? Anger can affect how we feel physically, how we feel mentally, and how we behave. Because we are all different, we will react differently and display different symptoms. Physical symptoms: a racing heartbeat, tense muscles, clenching fists. The mental symptoms, such as feeling tense or nervous, being unable to relax, being easily irritated, resenting other people, and changes in behaviour: shouting, lashing out, ignoring people, sulking, violence, breaking things, self-harm, a desire to run away from the situation, irritation, feeling sad or depressed, feeling guilty or resentful, and feeling anxious. What are the effects of anger on ourselves? When we are angry, our bodies release the hormones adrenaline and cortisol, the same hormones that are released when we are stressed. Being angry regularly and for long periods of time can cause physical and psychological health problems. The big hitters are high blood pressure, which can, in severe cases, lead to stroke and heart attack, sleep problems, problems with digestion, impaired immune system, depression, reduced self-confidence, eating disorders, substance abuse, and self-harm. From this list, it is clear that if anger is or becomes a problem, it can be detrimental to our health and should be managed. So what can we do to help manage our anger? Practical tip time. The first step is understanding that anger is a natural emotion that, if displayed appropriately, is okay. But if it is out of control, then we must do something about it. Hopefully tonight's talk has started that journey of discovery. Then we should try to recognise when we start to feel angry so that we can take steps to calm down as early as possible. Steps such as, step 1, change our environment. Take a break and physically remove ourselves from the conflict. Go to another room. Go and exercise, walk or run. This may give us time to gain perspective and simply calm down. Recognise the situations and things that make us angry and try to minimise our exposure to them. Step 2. Use humour. Think of something funny to say, but don't be rude or sarcastic. Try to see the funny side of the situation. Imagine the other person in a silly situation. I will leave that to your imagination. Learn to laugh at ourselves and smile. It's hard to be angry when we are smiling. Step 3. Calm ourselves physically. Use physical relaxation techniques such as the mind calming exercises that we have talked about before, the breathing and the tapping. Count to 10. Yes, this is so simple, but it really works. Tighten and release small muscle groups. Focus on your hands, your legs, your back and your toes. Repeat a word or phrase that reminds you to stay in control. I use the phrase, "Let the past be the past at last." And practice imagery techniques. Use your imagination to visualize a calming place or situation. My calming place is 3,029 meters above sea level in the Austrian Alps. Clean, clear, silent, and calming. And step 4, seek help. We are not designed to deal and cope with things on our own, so seeking help is a basic need. We are never alone, even in this current COVID situation, so reach out to friends, family, medical professionals, church leaders, and pray and ask for God's help. This is not a complete list of steps, but ones that work for me. I hope this has given you something to think about, and I encourage you to find out what else is out there that can help. In summary, it is okay not to be okay, but by understanding that anger is a natural and normal emotion and that it must be managed so that it is displayed in an appropriate way and before it starts to hurt ourselves and those around us, and by seeking out and applying coping strategies that can help us to manage anger, change our environment, smile, calm ourselves, and by asking God and those around us that we trust for help, then we will become that little bit more okay, spiritually, physically, and mentally. I have taken a lot of information for tonight's talk from the NHS website, so if you want to know more, please get in touch or take a look at the website. Thanks for listening, stay safe and stay sane.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. That was wonderful.
He has a very calming voice, doesn't he?
He does. And there's some great tips there. I think one of the things to remember though that these calming techniques, you can only apply them to yourself. Okay, you can't do them on someone else. I remember early on in our marriage when Lydia was getting a bit stroppy, I tried to do the count to 10 on her. 1, she didn't respond very well. I got up to 3 and then I got a black eye. So
it's making it up. Okay, so Mum says self-control, one aspect of the fruit of the Spirit, ours when we belong to Christ. Absolutely. You know, we already have it. Yes, exactly. If you look at the fruit of the Spirit, we have them all. We have them. We don't always unpack them. It's like they're in a bag inside us and we forget to get them out, don't we?
Yeah. Because in some way that you can quench the Spirit, we were talking about that on Sunday, you can quench and you can suppress that part of the fruit. So you need to work in cooperation with the Holy Spirit to see that develop in your life.
Yeah, thank you.
Practice it in different situations.
Yeah, so thank you, Steve. Anyway,
that was great, Steve. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, some helpful things there. And, you know, I just keep thinking, sometimes we get angry when we get the wrong end of a stick. You know, I keep seeing this at the moment, especially in lockdown. People's conversations are happening across the internet. I see it in groups I belong to. And I see these things and I just think, actually, you know, people are just getting themselves all het up about things. So, yeah, I really like what Mark said at the beginning as well. So for those of you who joined us during Steve's talk, I encourage you to watch it from the beginning.
Thanks, hon.
But just to recap, you know, have a look at things and decide how important they really are. Sometimes we get ourselves all upset because we haven't thought about the importance of something. You know, we've made mountains out of molehills, as Mum says, and sometimes something that's not important can really get hold of us. So let's take charge. You don't need a new brain. You need to take charge of the brain you've got. In the same way that we can train our dogs, we can train our brains. So let's take hold of our brains and train them by choosing the right thoughts. Wow, I feel like a whole book's coming out of me. Here it comes. That's what we're going to do. Okay?
Yeah, and it's thinking about what you're thinking about. And if you can get into the habit, it's hard when you're in the moment and kind of
really hard
the
when
emotions
you're angry.
that are going.
No one knows anger better than I do they, Mum?
But if you can develop the ability, and maybe soon afterwards, or you will learn how to do it in the moment, to kind of take that step aside and think about what you're thinking about. Often, I suspect, what you'll find is, especially when you find yourself getting really angry about something that isn't important, actually that's just the outlet for the anger, and it's telling you that there's actually something else that's really worrying and stressing you.
Absolutely.
And this has just been the trigger that's allowed it all to come pouring out, which means the thing that's the real root cause you've not been dealing with.
Yeah, probably nothing to do with the thing that you're having a fit over.
And so see that's something to really, actually, I've been stressed about something and maybe not realised. That's why it's kind of showing up in these unexpected ways. I'm being angry about the cushions are set wrong on the sofa, when actually that's not the problem. And there's something else going on that's making you stressed. And so then once you realise that, you can go, okay, what is that thing that's making me stressed? And then you can start to address it, and manage your emotions.
The real thing, not the thing in front of you. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Yeah. So I keep remembering a children's ministry thing that I got going a few years ago. It was when there was an advert out for fruit shoots, and it used to say, "Fruit shoot, new thinking," which I used to think was a bit stupid for a child's drink that was probably full of E numbers, but probably was new thinking. But anyway, that was the advert, and it really made me think, actually, no, new thinking does come from the fruit, from fruit shoots. It comes from the fruit of the Spirit, as Mum was saying. So absolutely, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. They can give you new thinking. So think about what you're thinking about is absolutely the best advice in all of this. But absolutely, I'm really excited about brain training. It's not brain training. Everyone thinks brain training is doing a couple of Sudoku puzzles, don't they? Brain training is so much more than that. It's like dog training, but it's brain training.
Mm-hmm.
It's about training the brain to make the good choices. It's so good. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, let's close off today. Let people go and watch the final of the Sewing Bee. And I'll watch it on catch up, don't worry. So no spoilers, thank you. And eat a lot of fruit. It's good for you.
That guy's feeling a bit hemmed in.
Let's say goodbye.
The guy who wins is a singer.
Say goodbye, Mark.
Goodbye, Mark.
God bless.
Don't forget Shalom Show tomorrow night, and Hope Church Online on Sunday morning. Bye.